Hey guys, what's going on? So, I do got a couple of MK videos I want to make. First one is this one, and it's about a very niche thing, or it will appear niche. I don't think it is. And it's a thing that has always bugged me about the way NRS makes their games, and it's a thing that I think if you were to really think about it, would downstream to a lot of their balance issues their games tend to have. Let me get a drink here. Hold on. So the thing I want to talk about today is NRS's obsession with overly rewarding jabs. And by that, in this case, I mean Stam 1. NRS, this is a unique thing about NRS games. And I'm curious what people will think about my discussion around this. So, what's the deal? Why do I have a beef with this? So, Tom and other critics of NRS have always said that there's too much power that is immediately accessible from simplistic decisions. And the jab, the NRS jab, is like a defining example of this. NRS, probably in the realm of non-Kusoge fighters, has the most rewarding on-hit jabs in the genre of fighting games, I think. Even in anime games, you're not clearing the damage that you get off a jab in NRS games without some kind of form of, like, meter expenditure or very conditional situational confirm, something like that. If I do a light chain in Street Fighter, I get maybe 15% at best. That's like high end. If I do like a jab punish in Tekken, I'm getting like anywhere from maybe 9 to 12%, something like that. If I hit somebody with a jab in an NRS game, they're losing a third of their health. And this has always been a thing about their games that has always bugged me. I know this is a weird thing to complain about, but trust me, I think if you were to just take the time to think about this, this translates into a lot of the problems around like the game's perceived lack of long-term depth. It translates to a lot of the balance issues, and it does exemplify the problem that NRS is too concerned with making their players feel powerful instead of making them rein in their characters' tools to achieve that power. I know this is a weird sounding like dichotomy I'm laying out here, but trust me, this matters. And it's always been it's just been on my mind lately because if anything, this to me is the example, the number one defining flaw of the way NRS makes their games post MK9. Now, Injustice is a lot better because you usually have to spend meter, or your character will have like a launcher extension attached to their jab string, but it will be unsafe on block, so it will be punish only. You can't just like fish for it on like a stagger or shimmy situation, and it will usually scale heavily. Like one example I can think of obviously is like Batman or like Enchantress, for example. But in MK, they just insist that you must at least get a third of your opponent's life off of the fastest universal option in the game, and I think that's really fucking stupid. And it is an example of power being too readily accessible. So I know some people are going to say, well, what about like when Tom, for example, talked about before the power levels needing to go up, that's an entirely different thing. Access to power and how high the power level is had nothing to do with each other. The thing is, I want to repeat this concept. There's a difference between your power budget being immediately accessible to an unhealthy degree and you having to master your character and mastery of their tools to bring out the power of the character. Those are two different things. And NRS is, once again, I'm going to say it, they're too concerned with like the dopamine. They're too concerned with you feeling like you are achieving something off of every single tiny little decision you make. And this is like the number one defining flaw of their games, in my opinion. Number one defining flaw. So this is a quick rant. It's not in detail, but it's just something that's been on my mind. I wanted to vocalize it, make a video about it, and I would like to see if anyone has any thoughts to share about it. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.